Myself is Dr. Rima Sinha. Presently, I am working as a associate professor in the Department of Pharmacy at Ramis Institute of Vocational and Technical Education, Greater Noida. This institute is affiliated to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. Today, I am going to give a lecture on structure activity relationship and mechanism of action of antihistaminic agents. In previous lecture, I have discussed the introduction part of histamine, what is histamine, what are the symptoms of histamine, and how histamine is synthesized from histidine, and then I have discussed about the what is antihistaminic drug and the classification of antihistaminic drug with structure and uses. Now, in this chapter, in this lecture, I will discuss the structure activity relationship. So, structure activity relationship, why it is important to study? See, if we want to development new drug molecules, you want to research work, then you have to change the basic skeleton of molecules and you have to observe the notice the biological response of particular drug. So, that correlate the structure activity relationship. On the structure activity relationship data, you can make some assumption regarding the potency and toxicity of the new molecules. So, it is very necessary to know about the structure activity relationship. In my lecture, I will discuss the SAR of, that is full form structure activity relationship of antihistaminic agents. So, antihistaminic agent, we have in classification we have classified into H1 and H2, H3 and H4, but in your syllabus only H1 and H2 antihistaminic agent is mentioned. So, here I will discuss the SAR of H1 receptor antagonist and H2 receptor antagonist. After that, I will discuss the mechanism of action of H1 antihistaminic agent and mechanism of action of H2 antihistaminic agent. SAR of antihistaminic agent. Structure activity relationship of antihistaminic agent will categorize is two categories. First, I will discuss SAR of H1 antihistaminic agent. Then we will discuss the SAR of H2 antihistaminic agent. So, you see classification, on the basis of classification we are discussing structure activity relationship. SAR of H1 receptor antihistaminic agent. Here you see the general structure, these are the general structure of H1 receptor antagonist. Here 2 aromatic ring is there, X is there, special group is there, or N substituted terminal nitrogen is there. Basically, it competes against the receptor. So, natural substrate histamine in binding to the receptor. So, general structure just to explain like this, 2 aromatic rings is connected to a central atom, that is your X. X may be carbon, nitrogen or oxygen, and spacer and amino group. So, these are the skeleton of H1 receptor antagonist. These two aryl groups are usually substituted, and substitution is shown to play a role in the activity and bioavailability of the drug. If we see In the last lecture of classification of antihistaminic agent, there you have must be seen two aromatic rings are there in H1 receptor antagonist drug and one is substituted. So, substitution in aromatic ring is very important. It play important role in the activity and viability of the drug. So, it explain the activity as well as the viability of the drug. If we start the study of structure activity relationship, you must know the basic skeleton of the drug. So, basic skeleton of the drug is two aromatic ring, X, spacer and terminal nitrogen. Further, just we see here AR1, these are substituted aromatic ring and this is aromatic ring. Now, X and this is carbon chain and this is your terminal nitrogen. General skeleton. Now, I will divide in 4 portion. This is the aromatic ring portion, this is the X, this is the carbon chain and this is your terminal nitrogen. I will discuss the SR part by part. First we take, this is first part, that is aromatic ring, second part X, third part carbon chain, fourth part is your terminal nitrogen. Aromatic ring is important, just I told you explain the activity and viability of the drug. Here X determine the subclassification of antihistaminic drug. It may be carbon, it may be oxygen, it may be nitrogen. So, we will detail discuss in when we will come this section. So, first I will take the aryl group. First section I am taking, which is known as aryl group. This is your aryl group. You have seen in structure there is two aromatic ring is present. Two aromatic ring is present in every H1 receptor antagonist drug. So, the diaryl substitution is essential for significant H1 receptor antagonistic activity, right. These two aromatic ring is present in both first generation, second generation H1 receptor antagonist. आपने जितने स्ट्रक्चर देखा था H1 रिसेप्टर एंटागोनिस्ट में, सब में आपने देखा था दो अराइल ग्रुप प्रेजेंट है, आइदर वो फर्स्ट जनरेशन का था या सेकेंड जनरेशन का था, राइट. ऑप्टिकल एक्टिविटी, ऑप्टिमल एक्टिविटी ड्रग की जो है, दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन कोप्लानरिटी ऑफ टू अराइल सब्स्टिट्यूशन. सपोज दिस AR, it may be phenyl, substituted phenyl, heteroaryl group like 2-pyridyl. In many structure you have seen either AR is phenyl ring या substituted, may be chlorophenyl group, chlorobenzene group is there, or it may be 2-pyridyl group. AR1, it may be aryl or aryl methyl group. So, these two aromatic rings are required for H1 receptor antihistaminic activity. Now, X, next part is your X. Nature of X. X determine the subclassification of H1 receptor antagonistic drug. If X is oxygen, then classification is your amino alkyl ether. Amino alkyl ether analogues, you can say amino alkyl ether derivative. If X is nitrogen, it is ethylene diamine derivative. If X is a carbon, then it is a amino propyl derivative. These classification with structure I have given in lecture 2. So, X determine basically the sub classification of the H1 receptor antihistaminic drug. So, basically it serves primarily as this pressure for the pharmacophoric aryl or terminal nitrogen. So, X is a connecting atom. Now, third part is your carbon chain. Here you see the structure. If X is oxygen, then its structure is ethanolamine. If X is nitrogen, then category is ethylene diamine. If X is carbon, then it is propylamine. These are all H1 receptor antagonistic drug. There is a separate class of drug where 2 phenyl ring is fused with thiazine ring, which is known as phenothiazine ring. Example is your promethazine. So, another class is your piperazine ring. Just we see the structure. So, these are the classification of H1 receptor antagonists. Depending on the nature of X, we are classified, sub-classified into H1 receptor antagonists. Now, alkyl side chain. You have seen the structure, there is carbon chain. This is the carbon chain part 3. This is the spacer between the central atom and the terminal nitrogen. Usually it may contain 2 to 3 carbon chain. There should be 2 or 3 carbon. If we extend the carbon chain length, then activity will decrease. If you decrease the carbon chain, then also activity will decrease. If you branch the carbon chain, then also the activity will be reduced. So, it can be linear, ring, branch, saturated or unsaturated. Extension and branching of chain result in a less active compound. One structure is your promethazine. Just you see the last slide. Last slide you just I have discussed the structure of promethazine. Here you see the structure of promethazine, branching is there. Just we see here, यहाँ पर branching किया हुआ है. So, branching will give you less active compound. Carbon chain is there, but branching is there. So, it gives a less active compound. Now, fourth is your terminal nitrogen. You see the terminal nitrogen here. Terminal nitrogen, this is the terminal nitrogen should be basic and tertiary amine for maximum activity. The amine can be in numerous form. It may be dimethylamine or in heterocyclic form. Dimethylamine derivatives are found to be better antagonistic activity. If we substitute this R here, nitrogen dimethyl group, these are the found better antagonistic activity. The terminal nitrogen may be the part of heterocyclic ring. यहाँ पर heterocyclic ring भी हो सकता है इस टाइप से. It could be part of heterocyclic ring. Example you have seen in chlorcyclidine and antazolene. Here I have given the example here, that is your antazolene. This is the example of antazolene. Here you see the nitrogen, it is a part of heterocyclic ring. So, terminal nitrogen should be a basic tertiary amines for maximum activity. The amine can be in numerous form like dimethylamine हो सकता है, smallest substitution है. यहाँ पर जो भी alkyl group लगाएंगे that should be a very small like methyl group. So, you can put 2 methyl group, it will give better activity, or you can substitute with heterocyclic ring also, like here you have seen antazolene structure, heterocyclic ring is substituted there, it can give better antihistaminic activity. So, terminal nitrogen could be a part of heterocyclic ring. Example is your chlorcyclidine and antazoline. So, this is the SAR of H1 receptor antagonist. Now, we will discuss the SAR of H2 receptor antagonist. You see the H2 receptor antagonist. This is the general structure. One heterocyclic ring is there and chain, carbon chain is there, and next is your terminal nitrogen. Just to compare this structure with histamine. Many times I have given structure of histamine. So, it acts as a competitive inhibitor. This is the structure of histamine. In this similar way, we have done in H1 receptor antagonist, we divide the core nucleus pharmacophore part in 4 parts like aryl, nature of X and ethylene group and terminal nitrogen. Same way here also we will classify into divide into 3 parts. One is your imidazole ring, A part, B part is your carbon chain and C part is your terminal nitrogen. So, first we will discuss the imidazole ring, that is your heterocyclic compound. In H2 receptor, imidazole structure is considered for best biological activity, but it is not mandatory all H2 receptor antagonists will contain imidazole ring. Imidazole ring can be replaced by various heterocyclic ring like furan, thiazole, thiophene. There is so many 5 member heterocyclic rings are available. So, you remember imidazole structure will give best activity, H2 receptor activity, but it is not mandatory कि all H2 receptor antagonist drug will contain imidazole in their structure. Some may contain furans like ranitidine, it contains furan. So, in the H2 receptor imidazole structure is required for the activity, it exists in 2 tautomeric form 1 and 2. So, other heterocyclic ring can be used in place of imidazole like furan, thiophene, thiazole. So, I have given the example of cimetidine, it contains imidazole ring, but in case of famotidine, what it contains? Thiazole. In case of ranitidine, it contains furan. Remember, these are the basic heterocyclic ring. So, imidazole ring is important for the H2 receptor antagonistic activity, but it is not mandatory कि all H2 receptor antagonists will contain heterocyclic ring like imidazole. They may contain other heterocyclic ring like furan, thiazole, thiophene, etc. Here you see the structure of imidazole which exists in tautomeric form. It exists in 2 form. Here you see the structure 1 and 2. Now, this tautomeric form, there is 2 tautomeric form, which form is more stable and give active. Here you see the structure and you will find structure 1 will more favorable structure which give active compound. So, how? Just to compare the structure of imidazole ring, tautomeric form. Here R group substituted are either the nitrogen. Here R is very far from nitrogen. In case R is nearer to nitrogen, so it favors the structure 1 for H2 receptor antagonistic activity, right. Is both tautomeric forms are exist by imidazole ring, but structure 1 favors for the activity, and the reason behind is these R is nearer to this atom nitrogen. Here R is very far. Clear? Second, we are discussing about the carbon chain. Carbon chain in H1 receptor antagonist, you have read that it must contain 2 or 3 carbon. If you extend from 2 carbon or 3 carbon, activity will be decreased. But in H2 receptor antagonist, here you see there is minimum 4 carbon chain is required for H2 receptor antagonistic activity. Here 4 carbon chain, you have to remember 4 carbon chain. And carbon chain is the link between the heterocyclic ring and terminal nitrogen of the H2 receptor drug. So, it separates the ring and nitrogen group with the equivalent of 4 carbon chain. So, 4 carbon chain is required for H2 receptor antagonistic activity. Clear? Now, this CH2 like this carbon, if you find in its structure, this CH2 isosterically can be replaced by thioether and it will give you more active compound. If you analyze the structure of ranitidine, here there you will find thioethers are in the replaced by methylene group replaced by thioether group. Isosterically we can replace this methylene group by sulfur and it will give you active compound. Clear? So, you have to remember for H2 receptor antagonistic activity, there should be equivalent of 4 carbon chain is required for H2 and for H1 there should be 2, minimum 2 or maximum 3. Though you can remember 2 or 3 carbon chain is required for H1 receptor antagonistic activity. This is the major difference point between the SAR of carbon chain of H1 and H2 receptor antagonist. Now, come to the terminal nitrogen. Terminal nitrogen should be polar, non-basic substituent for maximum antagonistic activity. You have to remember this. Terminal nitrogen should be polar, non-basic substituent for maximum antagonistic activity. Here one more point, if you substitute chain in chain electron withdrawing group, then the compound will be active. If you substitute by electron donating group, then the activity will be decreased. So, this is the SAR of H2 receptor antagonist. So, basically you have to compare with the H1 H2 receptor antagonist. So, there is a major point we have to remember is that in H2 receptor antagonist there is equivalent of 4 carbon chain, in H1 receptor antagonist there is a 2 or 3 carbon chain. First point. Second point, there is the aromatic, there is 2 aryl aromatic rings are required for H1 receptor antagonist, but in case of H2 receptor antagonist heterocyclic rings are there. Heterocyclic rings may be vary, it can be imidazole, furands and thiazole, thiophene etc. whatever. Next, methylene group in H2 receptor antagonist, it can be replaced by sulfur. In H1 receptor antagonist, if you branch, extend, decrease, replace with sulfur, then activity will be decreased. These are the difference I am telling about the structure activity relationship between the H1 receptor antagonist and H2 receptor antagonist. Nitrogen atom in H1 receptor antagonist, it could be substituted with dimethyl group or it could be part of heterocyclic ring. I have given the example of chlorcyclidine, antazolene, that is the H1 receptor antagonist. But in terminal nitrogen, it should be a polar non-basic substituent for maximum antagonistic activity. So, by the study of SAR, now you can identify the what are the basic nuclear that is required for the antihistaminic activity, either it may be H1 or H2. So, basic nucleus you should identify before studying the antihistaminic activity. Like here we have discussed the basic skeleton like imidazole ring, chain and nitrogen for the H2 receptor antagonist. So, and just back to H1 receptor antagonist, here the basic nucleus is diaryl group and X carbon chain and nitrogen. So, you compare this basic skeleton. First you should remember what are the basic nuclei required for the H1 receptor antagonist and what are the basic nuclei required for the H2 receptor antagonist. Then you compare the both structure and both the SR point. You will find there is a drastic difference. Like H1 there is fluoryl group, in H2 there is heterocyclic ring. In H1 X is there which is subclassified, in H2 there is no subclassification, right. H1 may subclassification depends upon the X, either it may be nitrogen, carbon or oxygen, but H2 there is no classification. In H1 carbon chain may be 2 to 3, if we extend or decrease it will decrease the activity, but in H2 carbon chain is required for 4 equivalent. There should be minimum 4 equivalent carbon chain, or carbon chain methylene group can be replaced by sulfur, it will give active analog. I told you example is your ranitidine. Now, come to the terminal nitrogen. Here it could be a part of heterocyclic ring, or it could be substituted a very small alkyl group like methyl group. We can substitute by both R group like methyl group, it will be compound will be active, but in H2 receptor antagonist you have see the it should be non-polar non-basic. Now, I am coming to the mode of action of histamine. Mode of action of histamine we classify into two category, H1 receptor antagonist, H2 receptor antagonist. So, H1 well, what they will do, they increase the calcium ion release, and H2 receptor may it increases the cyclic AMP. So, first I am taking the mode of action of H1 antihistaminic agent. Here you see histamine release, it bind with receptor and the patient is feeling allergic discomfort by expression. Okay. So, here you see the mode of action of H1 antihistaminic agent. Here you see first you activate the H1 receptor antagonist, it forms IP3 and DAG, IP3 that is inositol 1,4-triphosphate and dicyclic glycerol. Then it convert into release calcium ion, then it activate calcium calmodulin dependent protein kinase and phospholipid which causes bronchoconstriction and contraction of gut. What H1 receptor drugs will do? They will inhibit the release of calcium ion. If they will inhibit the release of calcium ion, then this vasoconstriction and contraction of gut will not take place and this calcium ion will not activate, then this response will antagonize. So, H1 receptor antagonist decrease the release of calcium ion and phospholipid and block the characteristic response of H1 receptor. So, these are the mechanism of action of H1 receptor antagonist. Now, H2 receptor antagonist, just you see when H2 histamine release and bind with H2 receptor antagonist, it increase the cyclic AMP. This cyclic AMP increase the calcium ion release. Now, this calcium ion activate the proton pump and it increase the secretion of acid HCl. So, antihistaminic drug, you see the drug is here, antihistaminic drug, it decrease the concentration of cyclic MP. If it decrease the concentration of cyclic MP, then it decrease the concentration of calcium ion, and in this way it will reduce the excess secretion of gastric acid. So, I will cover all the mechanism. Thank you, friend.